Hey up, it's that old Yorkshire geek here again, and tonight, or today, or whenever you're watching it, I'm doing a season review of season 1 of the book of Boba Fett, which ended, it had its 7th and final episode of season 1 last night, or this morning. Depending where you are in the world, or when you're watching it, it could have been a year ago, for all I know. But anyway, so there we go, the book of Boba Fett back there. And somebody else that's in it as well, spoilers, but let's just crack on, shall we? I've got some notes, but we'll look at images from the show as we go. So here it is, any road up. Right, so anyway, we start off, obviously the Lucasfilm there, we start off with this malarkey, just get past that, and hang on, let's move that off a bit. There we go. Apologies for that. I'm not very organised, as you can see, and I just record things, as live. I don't really edit much unless somebody knocks on the door. Anyway, where were we? Anyway, so obviously we're in Jabba's palace here, and we're having a look through, and getting a lay of the land. What's next? And there he is. There's Boba Fett in a Bacta tank. And as we find out, he's dreaming. He's dreaming of Camino. There he is, dreaming. Hang on, there's Camino. I've gone past it. There we go. There's Camino. There it is, in all its wet and wild majesty. And of course he grew up there, didn't he? He was a young Boba Fett there, cloned son of Jango Fett, and he grew up on Camino. There's Slave 1, which is a fire spray gunship, apparently. Was it when I was young, when Empire Strikes Back came out, I'm sure it just said it was a Mandalorian police interceptor. I'm sure that's all it said, but they've decided it's a fire spray gunship. Anyway, so he's having dreams about his past. So we're going to see a lot of these flashbacks as we go. Then he dreams of Camino, and he also dreams of, there we go, Geonosis. So I can move it on a bit. Hang on. See, I tell you, I'm not organised. Oh, see, I'm making a mess of stuff already. There. Oh, yeah. There he is. Young Boba on Geonosis with his father's helmet. I hope his dad's head's not in there. But I think if you watch Attack of Clones now, I don't know if it was done originally, but I think one of the re-releases of the Blu-ray or whatever, they added like a shadow moving away from the helmet as though his head had fallen out after Mace Windu chopped it off. But anyway, we can only wonder. That's his father's, Beskar armour. Supposed to be Durasteel, but now it's Beskar. They keep changing things, don't they? And then he goes, he's in the belly of the Sarlacc. There he is, all covered in zigoo. And as Janosch says in Ghostbusters 2, I'm all covered in zigoo. So there he is in the belly of the Sarlacc. Don't know how long this is after Return of the Jedi. Is it hours? Is it days? Is it years? I don't know, because it's obviously the Sarlacc. Apparently can keep you alive for 1,000 years. Don't know how it does that, but while it digests you. Anyway, he uses his flamethrower to get out. He sees a stormtrooper, doesn't he? See if we can catch the stormtrooper. He's using his light, and there's a stormtrooper. Don't know how that stormtrooper got in there. Anyway, pulls a pipe out of the stormtrooper's armour, uniform, whatever. Didn't know they had pipes in them. Never seen a pipe in a stormtrooper's thing. Take their helmets off. They're just helmets, are they? You don't see pipes and stuff. You didn't see Luke and Han fiddling about with pipes, did you, when they put them stormtrooper uniforms on? In Star Wars, A New Hope. Star Wars. A New Hope later. I'm old. I'm that old Yorkshire geek. Welcome to the show. Anyway, does that, and then uses his flamethrower. There we go. Oh god, see, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Anyway, use his flamethrower, and he gets out. I don't know why using his flamethrower helps him get out, but we see the glare of the Tatooine desert, and his hand comes out of sand. Why? I don't know why ain't he climbing up out of there? I don't know. I mean, you'd think he'd be, he'd get up and climb up through the mouth of the Sarlacc, wouldn't you? But obviously he's got out at side of the beast and dug his way up. Thinks he's the bride from Kill Bill. There he comes out. It's all covered in sand, and obviously the digestive juices of the Sarlacc. And he's not in best shape, and where are we? He's not in best shape. And anyway, I think some Jawas come along. There we go. Sandcrawler appears. Some Jawas come along. Nicky's armour is awake. He's conscious. Is aware of what's going on. Maybe only just, but the Jawas knock him out. Come on, you think? Anyway, in daytime, some Tusken Raiders. Used to call them sand people when I was a kid, but now the Tusken Raiders. Tuscans, just Tuscans now, because you can't call them Raiders, can you? Because that's got negative connotations, and now they've got to be indigenous people. So the Tuscans. And anyway, Tuscans find him, and they dribble some horrible-looking water in his mouth. Enough to bring him round. I mean, it looks like it's coming out with a little Jimmy Riddler there, doesn't it? But is it some sort of worm or grub that dug up or found under a rock? Anyway, it's enough to get him on his feet. Anyway, they tie him up and drag him along in the banthas. He keeps falling over, and so they're not treating him right well, really. But he's alive. Anyway, he arrives. I thought they were pyramids. I thought, oh god, they're in Egypt, but no, these are the Tuscans' tents. Or the teepees, I don't know. I suppose it'd be classed as teepees, wouldn't they? Since we're going with the North American Indian motif, which is quite heavy in this. Not it's not a bad thing, but I'm just saying it's a bit heavy-handed. The spoilers, we do get some dances with wolves going on later. Anyway. So that happens. They get him, they tie him up, and then we got the title. Stranger in a Strange Land is episode 1, which is a really good Iron Maiden song. And it's also, a book and all that and stuff. But it's an Iron Maiden song. To me. And there he is, he's tied up. They've got him tied up outside, there's some battering down on his bald head. So it won't be good for him. So they're not exactly treating him well. He's tied to a tree stump. I think that's first bit of vegetation I might have seen in on Tatooine. We find out that Tatooine used to have loads of seas, and then some in legends, aliens came along and they had a big battle, and they bombarded the surface of Tatooine, and the seas boiled, and cats and dogs living together and all that. So, anyway, it's tied to this tree stump. Probably a petrified one. And there's this little kid, Tusken, who, obviously been put in charge of him. They obviously think he's not that much of a threat, so they can put a kid in charge. And, he takes his beatings, does Boba. And, there we go. So anyway, they kick shit out of him basically. And anyway, he wakes up, gets out of his. Hang on, he's still. Oh god, see, I've forgotten that. I've got my notes here. I'm not paying much attention to them. Because I'm useless. That's the Chief Tusken with his little melon thing of water, and I think that's supposed to be his wife. She's an able warrior as well. Not much of a looker though, is she? I mean, none of them. I wonder what they look like under there. Anyway, we'll move on. Right, so anyway, he's still tied up and it's night time, and there's a Rhodian, a red Rhodian. I know there's green ones. Don't ask me the difference. Somebody who's really into all this stuff would say, oh, well, they're from another part of Rhodian, and I suppose that's fair enough. But I'm waffling. And, let's move that down. There we go. And, anyway, he asks him, he gets out. There's, he loosens his bonds, and he gets away, gets out of his captivity, and he asks the Rhodian if he wants help. And the Rhodian calls out, warns the others that he's escaping because he's obviously some sort of idiot. A bit of Stockholm syndrome going on there probably. So Boba, just legs it, just runs off into the desert. I mean, you think, why is Boba asking if he wants help? It's Boba Fett, for crying out loud. He's just saved himself basically. It's Boba Fett, most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy. No, can I help you? No, he can't. Anyway, so there we go. Keep going. All eyes, one of them. What they call them? I can't remember. It's one of them. Don't. Can you see it? No, I can't. Anyway, move this a bit. Move that round there. Here we go. Is it doing it? Is it doing it? I'm doing the wrong thing, aren't I? Oh, whatever. It's one of them dogs anyway, you can just see it there. And it comes sniffing up to him. He don't realise he's escaped, and I think he grabs hold of it, doesn't he? He basically knocks it out and uses its teeth to cut his bindings. And that little kid comes out, and anyway, it runs off into the desert, and he ends up fighting with this female Tuscan, and he gets his ass handed to him pretty much. And you could argue, he's had a bad time. He's all burnt with sarlacc juices, and he's not at best of health. And he's been out in sun all day, and he's been beaten up. But it's Boba Fett. You thought he'd done a bit better, wouldn't you? So there we go. Gets brayed up, as we say here, and there he's back in his back to tank. It's all empty, and he's going to waken up. And he gets out of his stuff. There's Fennec Shand who's looking after him, but there's not. It seems a bit empty as Jabba's palace, doesn't it? There's not much security going on. We saw earlier on there was nobody about. He hasn't got much of an entourage, has he? I mean, even when what's his face? Twilight chap. Bib Fortuna. There was still loads of people about, wasn't there? But not with Boba Fett. Nobody likes. Anyway, she gets him up and he gets dressed. Look, he's getting sorted and puts his armour on. It's basically his protocol droid. I think it was shown in Return of the Jedi, that thing, wasn't it? But it's got a name, but don't ask me what it is. And he's got his sat on his throne, and I think the mayor of the people come paying tribute, don't they? And some Trandoshans come, and I think they've got a Wookiee pelt, and he's the mayor's aide. Don't ask me names of any of these characters because I can't remember them, because they're all, forgettable. And he comes, basically says, the mayor sending you nothing because we don't respect you, and, we think you should be paying the mayor tribute. Boba should have killed him right there and chopped his head off or something, sent it back to the mayor, here's my tribute. But no, he just goes with it. Just lets him go. Don't do aught about it. Hey. So they decide to, it's these two as well. For some reason, I think it showed in Mandalorian season 2, it showed two Gamorreans fighting. For some reason, they don't want to put clothes on Gamorreans anymore. I mean, there's loads of clothes on them in Return of the Jedi, didn't they? They're all shaggy, furry stuff. I always wanted to say, they look like me. Like if it were, I'm actually fatter than that probably. If I were green, I'd look like that. My teeth aren't much better either. But I digress. And anyway, they end up working for him. He says, you know, you worked for Bib Fortuna and Jabba before that or whatever. And he says, come work for me. You know, everything will be hunky-dory. And they say, fair enough. So anyway, off they go to, there we go, oh God, just let them look. See, want to get taken out of a fantasy world immediately, put some real world stuff in it that people will identify, like some Boston Dynamics robot dogs. Obviously, you know, they were available, weren't they? Ooh, that'll look cool. No, it won't. It looks like, it's like putting a Ferrari or or something, you know, just something identifiable in the background, and they say, oh, what's that doing there? And that's that. Anyway, they go to this bar, I think. Yeah, they go to this bar that's run by a Twi'lek who's played by Jennifer Beals, who were in something. Was she in Dirty Dancing or something like that? I can't remember. See, I don't do my research because I'm bone idle. And there he is, looks, Max Rebo. And maybe that's one from the cantina on Moss Isley. But Max Rebo, how did he get away from sail barge? How did he just jump out before it blew up? Probably, well, according to Robot Chicken, he did, didn't he? He got out then, didn't he? You know, got to get to the gig. And he missed out on the gig. Anyway, he's playing there, playing his keyboard because he's an ace keyboard player. Anyway, they come into the bar and, oh, there we go. These Twi'leks come up. I know it's Twi'lek, but I say Twi'lek, so bugger you. I say what I like. I'm Yorkshireman. These two come in and they ask him, do you want your helmets cleaning? And you think, well, why? Why do you want your helmets cleaning? I'm guessing this might be like a throwback, because they're doing it like a western, aren't they? You know, Mandalorian, but a bit of a western, and they're doing this a bit like a western as well. You know, Dances with Wolves and all that, or Unforgiven. And I'm guessing, you know, is this, you know, you just went to saloons and that, they'd be all dusty, wouldn't they, from the, you know, riding on through the desert or whatever, or the dusty plains. And maybe somebody would say, you know, can we take you out in your coat and give it a dust off before you set off again. So I'm guessing it's something along them lines. And if it's not, well, it's a good idea. Anyway, they give him their helmets. I mean, Boba Fett gives him his helmet, you know, his iconic helmet. Anyway, and it comes back full of coins. Don't know what sort of coins they are. The Galactic Republic credits, I don't know, I can't remember. Anyway, there she is, Jennifer Beals, a very pretty lady. There she is, and she's running this place. She's got a name, can't remember what it is. Sorry about that knocky thing. This place is called the Sanctuary, by the way, and hang on, there we go. Yeah, anyway, you know, she says, oh, he tries to make out, you know, he's the boss round here, but nobody takes any blind bit of notice of him. You know, they're all basically dismissing him, even though he's walking, strutting about, trying to make out he's the boss. But he ain't. Anyway, they come out, they've got the coins, you know, the tribute in their helmets. So obviously they can't put them on, because they've got coins in them. And anyway, who's this leaping from a rooftop? It's some bad guys, and they've got shields, and they decide to, you know, go round, encircle them with these shields. You know, Boba Fett's got a jetpack, decides not to use it, so they do some fighting with these shields, and you know, they're basically just hitting them with shock sticks, and you know, if they wanted to assassinate them, why not just shoot them? You know, whatever. But you know, it doesn't happen. Anyway, they basically fight them off, and some of them try to run away. Boba Fett blows one up. I'm going to see this here. No, I'm not. I'm going to miss it, aren't I? Because I'm hopeless. Because I'm trying. No, whatever. Anyway, there we go. Boba Fett blows this one up. You know, fires a rocket and blows him up. He's totally gone. No blood. Disney. And then Fennec Shand, others had legged it in that direction as well. Fennec Shand goes up after him, And Boba Fett says, I want him alive. Well, why did you just blow that other fella up for then, you divvy? Anyway, so she sets off after t'others and catches up with them and kills one and saves the other. Not saves him, but saves him for later. Saves him and takes him into custody. Anyway, these Gamorreans attack Boba, stuff him back in his bacta tank, and we go back to another flashback. Anyway, in this one, this kid and his dog, boy and his dog, attacking Boba and the Rodian. They're off looking for them little, them melon things with water in. In Mandalorian, weren't they all like black stuff? But it seems to be water in this one. But at least I'm thinking of something else. Could be, you never know. Anyway, take them, out here, middle of the desert, and they go looking for all this. Oh, I forgot about these. He sees these in this distance, some sort of little outpost, and they're Nikto. Oh, gone off again. Come on, there we go. It's like they're called a Nikto speeder bike gang or something, and they've raided this place and they've put the mark on the walls. And apparently it's K, that's a K, and that's a K, so a KK, and some people have been saying, it's Kathleen Kennedy. It's symbolic of. Maybe it is, maybe it ain't, I don't know. Anyways, not impressed is Boba. Look, he's got one eye half closed, because he's thinking of stuff, probably. Can't really tell. I mean, Tamara's not that good an actor, is he really? Nice fella, but, he's not, no Laurence Olivier, is he? Anyway, they go looking for these things. They dig them up out at sand. There must be a lot of them because to be honest, for a desert planet, it's got a lot of life on it. So there must be a lot of stuff under sand that can be either eaten or drunk. I mean, banthas are herbivores. Even though later on in the series we see Boba Fett give the bantha a piece of meat and he eats it, but according to Wikipedia and all that, they're herbivores. So obviously now they're omnivores. Anyway, 2 suns burning down, tattoo 1, tattoo 2. And, cracky. And, they're still digging away. I've been at this for ages, haven't they? Something's going to happen in a minute. Here we go. And a big monster comes in a minute. There it is. There's the big monster. Comes up out. Where are you? Comes up out it. There it is. Big monster comes up out at sand. A bit like a Ray Harryhausen creature, isn't it? It's reminiscent of the Kraken in Clash of the Titans, anyway, but only smaller, obviously, and not in the sea. Anyway, they fight this. I think that Rodian gets killed, basically, and but Boba sorts it out, saves this little Tuscan kid. See, beating it. I think he throttled it with chain, and the tech. There it goes. Got the head, taking the head back to camp, and obviously they respect him now. Oh, there we go. Directed by Robert Rodriguez. See, the final shot is the chief. Go on, there we go. The chief. He gives Boba that drink of water out there. So that's episode 1. Which didn't blow me away, to be honest. It were alright. It's not the series as a whole isn't terrible. We'll get to that at the end, but it's episode 1 didn't exactly blow me away, and the way he got out of the Sarlacc pit, didn't like that either, to be honest. It was a bit wasn't it? Anyway, so we'll move on to episode 2, shall we? We'll move on to episode 2. We won't do that, we won't play it, because I'm not getting into trouble. Anyway, after a recap, where are we? There we go. There he is, the question in this chap that Fennec Shan caught. And, oh God, I'm getting ahead of myself. Come on, you thing. So there we go. And he won't say anything. Saying who sent you, and they're like, he doesn't speak English. He speaks Huttese or whatever they talk. I think it's Huttese. And he says he swears at him basically in Huttese. So Boba Fett, who's actually like Boba Fett for once, says, well, if he's not going to talk, he won't need his head. So the Gamorrean guard is basically going to cut his head off with this, doesn't look very sharp, does it? It looks a bit dull, but anyway, but he's not bothered. He's prepared to die. He don't care. I mean, look at his eyes. Look, he's not bothered. So Fennec Shand says, well, see how he deals with the Rancor. She presses a button on Boba's throne, and it falls into the Sarlacc pit. Boba didn't tell her to do that. She just decided of her own accord. Anyway, the door opens, but there's nothing there. Oh, and before he realises there's nothing there, he says, the mayor sent me. So he was prepared to have his head cut off, but, which would be, pretty nasty death with that dull blade. He was prepared to go through that, but not, get eaten by a Rancor, which would probably be quicker, to be honest. Don't make sense. Unbelievable. Yeah, so there we go. That's not very good, is it? So what do they do next? So they decide, yes, they go into Mos Espa with Gamorreans in tow. They just walk everywhere, I'm guessing, because you never see him riding on always. He's not when he goes, into Mos Espa, he doesn't take a speeder, he doesn't take a land speeder, don't take his ship. Not that we see him. I mean, he might park it where we can't see it, but we don't see that. We just see him walking up everywhere with his guards, and Fennec Shand and the prisoner. And there they go. Look. Speaking of Mos Espa, did we see Mos Espa? Oh, probably saw it last episode, didn't we? It looks different how it appeared in Attack of Clones and Phantom Menace. It just seems bigger. Mos Espa isn't that big when they were in Phantom Menace Attack of Clones. There's all this big area that's in like a crater, but or a big lower part. But we never saw that, did we? But whatever. Anyway, yeah, I'm just moaning about that. Obviously, we didn't see it all, did we? Anyway, they go to reception. Call it reception because Boba Fett does stuff like that, Sees this chap here at reception. Says, "I'm Boba Fett," and he's looking. He's saying, "Boba Fett, you're not on the list." It's Boba Fett. He should have just shot him and just walked in, and he arrives. Says, "Look, you can't go in," but they decide to go in. Anyway, what happens here? Anyway, that's the mayor of Mos Espa, and basically he says, nobody talks to Boba Fett as though, with respect, because he says he's the daimyo or whatever, daimyo of Tatooine. So basically he's saying he's in charge, like Jabba the Hutt, what? But nobody's really taking him seriously, even this chap. They were talking through a translator. That bit there, that's his mouth, that moves, it's translated. Talking his own language, and it's translated. But it shows him no respect, and I've got to admit, Tamara Morrison's not been great in this role. He hasn't got any menace about him, and he keeps taking his helmet off. I think he's got his helmet off on this bit, I think, but anyway, this chap. Anyway, no, he's still got it on there, hasn't he? Oh, they kill the. I haven't seen it, but they kill the assassin. When the mayor's men kills the assassin, all they do is just point the guns about. And it brought him in. It just shoots him in front of Boba Fett, and it sends him. The mayor sends him to the sanctuary bar. So basically, and he pays him, gives him some money for bringing that assassin in, because they're not supposed to work outside the Hutt space. I thought the Hutts ruled Tatooine, so isn't that technically classed as Hutt space? I don't know. Anyway, they go back there, and what's the fit? There she is. Jennifer Beals tells him that he's taking his helmet off again. Look, can't keep it off. On. tells him that the twins have arrived, and the Hutts have decided to take control of Tatooine again. After Bib Fortuna was killed by Boba Fett. So anyway, the twins arrive. Here we go. They hear this drumming, and so it goes out, and they come along, and there's hang on, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Come on, we are here. There, there we go. Oh, for God's sake! Come on, you things. It's hopeless, is this? Or is it just me that's hopeless? There they are. Oh, it's gone off again. Anyway, them twin Hutts there, I think the brother and sister. They say they're basically there they are. They're in charge. And when they arrived, all this were bowing in middle, and now it's suddenly not. But there we go. They said they're in charge. They basically fob off Boba Fett, and they've got a Wookiee working for them, Black Chrysanthemum. See if we can get to see him. There he is. That's Black Chrysanthemum, who's apparently been in Legends, comics and stuff and books, maybe, I don't know. But he's a super famous Wookiee bounty hunter, and he's working for the twins. And we'll see him again later. But it's not very exciting to be honest. Just people standing talking at one another. And but it does look cool, the Black Chrysanthemum. But again, they're not showing any respect to Boba Fett. Because he hasn't earned it. He's done now, has he? Basically, apart from killed Bib Fortuna, that's all he's done, and survive an assassination attempt. That's all he's done. So anyway, so I think we'll go for another flashback. There we go. Let's go in for another flashback. Back with Tuskens again, and now he's training with them. That girl one, or female one, she's training how to fight with a gaffy stick. Oh, there we go. That's some sort of, is it a womp? Something comes out of sand anyway, and they shoot it, and dogs go after it. And then something's coming in the distance, and it's hang on, there we go. There it is. Oh, for crying out loud! Where are we going? There it is. It's a train. Obviously, it's not on rails. It's on some sort of maglev or something like that. Anyway, it's bombing across the desert. Anyway, it's quite a way away, 'cause it's quite a big train, to be honest. And anyway, they start shooting from it. Whoever's on board, we find out it's the Pikes that's running it, but they're shooting through these little windows, and they're hitting, sand people, Tuskens, and a Bantha cops for it. Poor thing. And the Tuskens shoot back and hit one. I think they hit one of them through these little windows. Obviously, they've never been to Stormtrooper shooting school, have they? So they're really good shots. Anyway, yeah, they give him. Oh no! This into the getting rid of the dead, aren't they? They're setting up pyres to burn their dead that have been killed during that day by them, the gun train. And anyway, Boba says, right, I'll sort this out, so I'll deal with it. So they send him off. He's got his gaffy stick. I think he's got a gun as well, a rifle. And not this gaffy stick, it's just a wooden stick. And he sets off, and he goes to Anchorhead. And we see people that we already know. Obviously, they're played by different actors, but there's Cammy and Fixer, who were in Star Wars, before it became A New Hope. A deleted scene. At the beginning of Star Wars, they were at Toshi Station. So this is Toshi Station, not Anchorhead. This is Toshi Station. And or is that in Anchorhead? Whatever, I don't know. Anyway, this is Toshi Station, and that's Fixer, and that's Cammy. And this Nikto biker gang, speeder gang are in there, and they're causing the bother and stealing drinks and generally being, ruffians. Anyway, Boba comes in, sorts them out, beats them up. I don't know if he kills them or not. Maybe he kills one or two of them, I don't know. Anyway, he deals with them, takes a drink, nicks their speeders, and heads back to the the Tuscans. There we go. Here he comes. And he teaches them to ride the bikes and jump and stuff from them and shoot from them. So basically, it's like in a Wild West thing, in it, where they'll be teaching Indian braves or whatever. I know you can't call them Indians now, but you know what I mean. To shoot from a running horse and all that. It's that sort of montage. Anyway, so they're gonna go and attack this gun train. That's got spice. It's obviously spice runners in it. We know that without telling us. Anyway, they're doing all that training, so that's going on. Anyway, they're going to attack this gun train, and see, it's Pikes. Look, there we go. We've seen in Solo, a Star Wars story, and also they've been in Clone Wars and Rebels and stuff like that. Animated series. And they get on the train. Look, don't run across the top. Obviously, they've got to stop it. Which they do. Look, a bit of a blowing up bit there. Oh, it's blowing up. And I think Boba gets to the front eventually. There's all this action going on. And Boba gets to the front eventually, and the robot that's running it just jumps out at train. And that's Boba's reaction. Anyway, he stops the train, and it comes to a skidding halt, and the Tuscans, start taking the stuff off. And they find loads of water and that, and they're just spilling all over the floor. It's Tatooine, it's a desert. Shouldn't be wasting that water. Anyway, he tells the Huts that, not Huts, the Pikes, that they can carry on basically doing this, but they've got to pay tribute to the Tuscans whose land it is. If they want to continue, running their trains through that area, they've got to pay a toll, basically. And the Pikes say, well, we'll see, we'll tell our bosses. And they say, well, that's how it's going to be anyway. So that's that. And see, they're talking there. They're talking. Oh, aye, and then yeah. Anyway, why have they got a train? Anyway, excuse me, I'll get a drink of water. Got me water here. I'm getting a bit hoarse. Why have they got trains? Anyway, it's a bit like on Solo, isn't it? There's a train heist on that, isn't there? And you think, well, why have they got trains? They've got big spaceships that have like anti-gravity engines and stuff. They can just hover above the ground. They don't need trains. They can just fly everywhere. But anyway, it's baffling. Anyway, so we'll go back to the Tuscan camp, and Boba Fett here. It's basically like a vision quest scene, but it isn't actually a vision quest. He does actually go on a quest because he buggers off and comes back. So anyway, the Tuscan leader gives him a gift, and the gift is, see if I can find it. There we go. Oh, there we go. Gets a lizard up his nose. See if I can get back to it. Go on. There we go. Oh. Gets a lizard up his nose. Shall we play it? There we go. You ready? And go on. Up you go. Up you go. No, it's not doing it. It's taking too long. It's taking too long. A lizard.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's a good actor, isn't he?
I will let it guide me.
There we go. There we go. Lizard goes up his nose. Bet that hurts. And it sends him on a vision quest. So he has, sees a tree, look, and there's loads of water and stuff. Anyway, he comes back with a big twig, basically, that has got off this tree, and they show him how to forge it into a gaffy stick, and we get all that. They give him some Tusken Raider clothes, which is how we see him in Mandalorian Season 2. So we're catching up now, basically, aren't we? And anyway, see, here we go. They're making the gaffy stick that he fights the stormtroopers with in Mandalorian Season 2. So all that's happening. There we go. And then it ends, and they're all dancing around the fire, which is just like Dances with Wolves. And that's the end of that episode. So there we go. That's episode 2. It's another not great episode, really. I mean, and it don't get any better, to be honest. But not immediately. I mean, nobody's showing Boba Fett any respect. I mean, you know, do they have to? But you'd think so, wouldn't you? They'd at least be wary or a little bit nervous. He's Boba Fett, for crying out loud. He's the most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy. They know who he is. He's famous. Anyway, let's move on to Chapter 3, The Streets of Mos Espa. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Here's his recap from last week. There we go. See, I'm getting better stopping on them now. Oh, there we go. There's one of them, the monks, aren't they? Like spiders, the monks. And apparently there's the brains in there. They're giving up their bodies for mechanical ones, these monks. That's because it's a monastery, basically, Jabba's palace. And whenever I think of these brains that they've got in there, they give up their bodies, you know, so they can use the brains more. And I'm just thinking of the brain guy from Mystery Science Theater 3000, so probably got no idea what I'm talking about. But anyway, in my head canon, when I first saw Return of the Jedi, and you see the spider in the background, when Luke enters the palace, you see the spider. I always assumed that spider was the rest of the droid, the eye droid, the eye thing that pops out of the door that talks to 3PO and R2. I always assumed that was the rest of it, you know, that had stuck its eye through but it didn't. So I was wrong. I'm wrong about a lot of things. Right, so what happens next? So, anyway, yes, he's having another tribute thing, or people are coming to see him, and a merchant comes. First he has a quick lesson in you know, the tribes of well, not the tribes, the factions that are in Mos Espa. There's the Trandoshans and others. The control parts of Mos Espa, and there we go. Anyway, what's happening here? I don't know what's happening here. Anyway, this fella arrives. He's a merchant in Mos Espa, and he's moaning, complaining. He's saying that Boba's not respected in Mos Espa. And he tells Boba about these urchins that are causing chaos on the streets and stealing the water he sells, because he sells water. Apparently he sells it, you know, quite a high price, which is fair enough. It's a desert planet, you know, market value and all that. But that's by the by. And he says he'll pay double tribute if Boba can sort out these kids that are, you know, basically stealing his wares. So Boba says. Anyway, it describes them as like these terrifying cyborg creatures. You know, as the people that have replaced the body parts with droid parts. You know, and the way he describes it, they sound terrifying, and when we see them, they're not. But anyway, Boba, you know, says he'll deal with it. So off we go. Blah 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 blah. Talk. A lot of talking. And there we go. There's Mos Espa. Oh God. There we go, there's Mos Espa. Look at night, it looks very nice. But where were all this bit in Attack of Clones and Phantom Menace? I mean, did we just see all that over there? You know, that area that wasn't there. I mean, where's the Bunta Eve pod racing course and all that? Where's all that and stuff? The arena. Where's that? Anyway, I don't know. But anyway, they go back. Anyway, it's night time, but they'll go in at night. Obviously, couldn't wait till morning. And he goes, and here they are. Look at the lovely little, scooters, all nicely coloured, and these, you know, terrifying cyborgs that this bloke described. It's just people with. She's got a robot arm. People will say, "Oh, she's from Masters of Terrascars. She's thousands of years old." Nope, it's not her. Just stop giving modern writers too much credit. They don't know. They just do things. They don't they don't care about canon. They just do. If they might see something, or somebody might say something that piques their interest, and then they'll just take it, steal it, and make it into something else. That's all they do. That's all they do. Anyway, as long as he's got a robot eye. Basically, they're a scooter gang, basically, aren't they? Anyway, Bob, this merchant comes out, starts kicking off. Why? They said merchant sells the water for too high a price. That's why they're stealing it, because they can't afford it. They can afford these nice shiny bikes, can't they? All these robot parts and nice clothes. They're not all, not all knackered clothes, are they, in this harsh climate? No, so they're not that poor, are they? And anyway, he hires them. He gives the merchant a bag of money and says, "Yeah, that'll cover you," and hires the scooter gang. Well, I'm going to call the Scooby gang from now on, even though the bikes look like them hover bikes off Thunderbirds. I had a picture, but I forgot to get it ready. Never mind. I'll stick it in when I do it later. When I render it, I'll stick the picture in of the hover bike. Anyway, there we go. Cut to a nice, looks like a matte painting, but I'm sure it's CG, of Jabba's palace. And where are we? Just checking my notes. Dee. Oh, as I was saying, he keeps being depicted as this soft character. It's not like this hardened bounty hunter that's feared across the galaxy. And they've just done it again, haven't they, in this last scene? Anyway, I think we're having another flashback now. So here we go. Here, back on Camino, and young Boba is watching Django take off somewhere. I think. Let's just give it a quick play. There we go. There's Slave 1 leaving. Anyway, so I'll call it Slave 1. Whose is that hand? Don't know. Oh no, it's his hand. It's on the window, isn't it, of the where he is in Tipoca City as Django flies away. Yeah, that's right. They just superimposed Jabba's face, Boba's face there. Anyway, we'll move on. Right, flashback back to the Tusken Raiders again. Anyway, Boba says, right, I'm going to sort out these pikes. And for this train and all this, so they send him off on a bantha, and he goes off. So it obviously takes him a while. He's trudging off across the desert, and gets to this settlement. I don't know where it is. It might tell us. I can't remember. Anyway, he goes and has a talk with the Pikes. Anyway, yeah. I think it's Mos Eisley, isn't it? Yeah, he's in Mos Eisley, because we see that little curly-haired woman. We see her, don't we, background in one of the shots. Anyway, he goes to see Pikes. Here he is. He's with Pikes here, and he's negotiating with them, and he's thinking he can broker a deal with them about the train and all that, and protection money basically. And the Pikes say, well, they already pay money to the the Nikto Speeder gang. But if he can deal with them, they'll pay him. So he thinks that's fair enough. So off he goes back to the goes off back to the Tusken camp. Anyway, sees smoke in the distance, as we saw there. And when he gets to the camp, it's all in ruins. Everybody's been slaughtered, even the Banthas. And on one of the tents, am I going to get to it? See, it's probably there we go. One of the tents, that's the symbol of that Nikto Speeder gang. So that's who he thinks has done this. Which is fair enough, it's damning evidence in it. So he thinks the Speeder gang has murdered all his, his new family, because obviously it must have been there. If he got out the Sarlacc pit immediately, or more or less immediately, that means he's been with the Tuskens for 5 years, because this is 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So he's been with them quite a while, anyway, at least a few years, shall we say. And they were his family, they were his tribe, so he's not happy. And some have said that the female one isn't in the bodies. I think he burns the bodies. There we go, shows bodies in a pile, he burns them. puts the gaffy sticks on them. People said we never see the female one, so she's still knocking about. Don't know, because we don't see her for the rest of the season. Maybe she'll be in season 2. Anyway, so what happens next? What happens next? Oh, yes. So anyway, so he does that, but then he gets pulled out of his dream by Black Chrysanthemum, pulls him out of his back to tank, starts throwing him all over the shop and roaring, and he's got his electric knuckle dusters, and they're all fighting, and then there's obviously no security, you know. Where's his Gamorrean guards? Why ain't there like automatic sentry units or something like that? You'd think there'd be something, wouldn't you? You know, where's Fennec Shand for crying out loud? Anyway, the Scooby gang come in, and they fight, and anyway, they end up in. I don't know how they've ended up here. They end up in the throne room, and there she goes. Look, Fennec Shand's the only one who knows where the Rancor. That sounded like Max Headroom then, didn't that? Rancor. Where the Rancor pit button is. And she presses it again, and Black Chrysanthemum falls, but grabs hold. Hang on, where are we? Grabs hold of the thing, and instead she gets a gun out. No, it's not showing it, is it? There we go. She gets a gun out. He's hanging on. He's Black Chrysanthemum. And she gets a gun out. I thought she was going to shoot him, you know, make him fall off. But no, she gets a gun, pulls a knife out of it, and throws the knife. And then, you know, he lets go. The knife's stuck in his hand, so she's giving him a weapon. But obviously, there's no Rancor in there, is there? It's an empty pit. Anyway, so cut to obviously next day. They're eating. They're having a big feast. She's eating. I don't know, you know, how she's eating. All the guts are made of robot stuff out there. So where's all the food going? Is it just dropping in or what? I don't know. Where were we? Pulls out. Done that bit. Yeah. Oh yeah. After this bit, yeah. So the scene, the big feast there. It's a bit much in it, but fair enough. The twins arrive again. Here we go. There they go. Twins are back. Not them twins. Go on. Anyway, yeah, we'll stay with that. The twins arrive again. They brought a Rancor with them. So, yeah, it goes up and fill that Rancor pit with something else in it. So, only Rancors go in the Rancor pit. And, what do they say? Basically, they say, you know, it's not worth the hassle. They give Boba a Rancor. They say they're showing him respect. Danny Trejo's looking after it. Boba offers him Black Chrysanthemum, and they said they don't want him anymore. Send him back to the gladiator arena or whatever. And then they bugger off. Pardon me. Anyway, Boba, frees Black Chrysanthemum. He lets him go. Says don't deal with horrible people. And off he goes. So there we go. Then takes the Rancor in. Danny Trejo tells him all about Rancors and says there's the sensitive creatures. And Bob decides he wants to learn to ride it. So I wonder if we'll see that before the end of the season. Anyway, they go to Mayor's office next. So we do all that. They're talking. Look, let's set Black Chrysanthemum free. Anyway, there he is. There's the Rancor. He's not well up. He was depressed. That's it. Depressed Rancor. Anyway, after this bit. Come on, see, there's a lot of talking and basically nothing happening, isn't there, in this series? They go back to the mayor's office, and guess what? They get stuck at reception again. Like the reception bits, don't they, in a galaxy far, far away. And this fella tells Boba and Fennec that the mayor's on vacation off-world, and that they can't see him. Anyway, so he ducks it back and then locks the door, and Boba's like, he's locked the door. Shoot the door up, and then crying out loud. Anyway, he legs it. He tries to escape, and there's this crappy speeder chase. Look, I suppose it stills. It looks quite exciting, but believe me, it's not. It's really slow and it's really boring. I mean, look at that. Yeah, that's about as exciting as it gets. Look, some boxers get knocked over. And anyway, surprise, surprise, here we go. Boba arrives. It's not going to show it, is it? There we go. I'm not going to catch it, am I? Boba arrives. Here we go, shall we see it? No, I've got to keep pausing. There we go, on his jetpack. Could have used that earlier, couldn't he? Why don't you just use it to start with? You know, jetpacked over and plucked him out of the car. But no, they had to have a crappy slow speed chase. Anyway, they catch him. Anyway, we go then to the spaceport, and more pikes are arriving. Let's have a look. There we go. An army of pikes are arriving, and Fennec says, you know, the pikes are going to war, and that's how it ends. Oh, yeah. This fella talks to Boba. And Boba says, keep an eye on them, and then he apologises to him. Says, oh, sorry, you know, as though he's like offended him, and he says, no, you're all right. Well, Boba wouldn't care if he offended anyone, would he? He said, you know, keep your robot eye on them, because that's your good eye. Tell you. Yeah, anyway, that's another one. So that's another one done. Another one bites the dust. What episode was that? Was that 3 or 4? That was 3, wasn't it? So we're up to episode 4 next. So another one, another not very good episode. You know, they're not terrible, but they're not very good, are they? Anyway, episode 4 is The Gathering Storm. Oh. And there's another, obviously, a recap. And what happens in this one? There we go. I think we have the final. Flashback session in this episode. Yeah, I think Boba. Yeah, right. After the Tuscans have been slaughtered, Boba's on his own basically. He's found himself a bantha to ride, and what's that? What's in my eyebrow? Sorry about that. He's found himself a bantha to ride. Anyway, he goes to Jabba's palace, or at the time it's Bib Fortuna's palace, isn't it? And he's checking it out. Oh God, I keep going too far. Go back. There we go. He's checking it out through his telescope, because he knows his ship's in there. You know, Slave 1 is in there, and he's wanting it, but he says there's too many guards. And then we see a few, don't we? 6 or 7 guards. I don't know. There could be 10 or 20 for all I know. But it don't matter because it's Boba Fett. He should be able to take them all on and get them all sneak in and nick his ship at least. I mean, it's Boba Fett. It's not some rubbish person. It's Boba Flaming Fett. Anyway, go to this bit. Campfire scene. Right, as I mentioned this earlier. Banthas. When you look them up on like Wikipedia and all this stuff, it says banthas are herbivores. I don't know what they eat, because it doesn't look to be a lot of plant material on Tatooine, is there? But it says they're herbivores. But he gives it a lump of meat here, and it eats it and burps. Yeah, look, there you go, here, have that. And it eats it and burps. Obviously they're omnivores. Or maybe they decided they're carnivores. Right. Anyway, Boba sees that flare in the distance, and we all know what that is. Everybody says, oh, we all knew what that was. And I was watching it thinking, I don't know what that is. What is it? Because I couldn't remember. But it's from season 1 of Mandalorian, in it, when Mando and that young bounty hunter go looking for Fennec Shand in the desert, and they do a flare that stops a night vision thing, doesn't it? So that's what that's for. So anyway, he goes and he finds Fennec Shand. She's been shot by that young fella. She's close to death. There we go, the Gathering Storm, and takes her to a mod shop. There we go, a mod shop somewhere on Tatooine. I don't know where it is, but see, what's on my eye there? It's So anyway, yeah, takes to this mod shop. There's some modded people like hanging about outside, all on a scooter, and this thing about these modded people, and I mean, I am wrong because this is canon now, isn't it? But to me, it doesn't seem, this mod shop and this culture doesn't seem to be a very outer rim thing. Excuse me. I mean, the outer rim is supposed to be like the Wild West, isn't it? You know, it's lawless and all that. Even the Empire struggled to control the outer rim, didn't it? Even Moff Tarkin, you know, to build a Death Star, didn't it? To bring systems in line. But you know, it's not a very outer rim. I can imagine it in, like, you know, more affluent core worlds, where, you know, there's more money to throw about, you know, and it's more, you know, quote, civilized, isn't it? You think, you know, there, but Tatooine is, as Luke said in A New Hope, it's the planet. If there's a bright centre of the universe, it's the planet that it's farthest from. So anyway, this guy, anyway, we'll get on to it. He goes inside and he says, "Save my friend," or whatever. This woman is just never did do. Look at the state of that. Anyway, takes her in and says, "Save her." Anyway, this fella, we're going to get him. We're going to get a picture. There we go. I'm guessing he's supposed to be famous. I don't know. Is he some sort of musician or artist or singer or something? I don't know. I'm guessing he's supposed to be somebody famous, but I don't know who he is. I could have looked him up, but I'm lazy, and I don't really care, even though I'm mentioning it. Anyway, fixes Fennec and rips out her guts, apparently, that we don't see, and replaces it with machinery. As I said before, when she's eating, you see all this stuff moving about inside. Let's see if we can find a picture. There he goes off the look. There he's using his equipment. No, hang on, we've gone too far. Let's go too far, don't I? Let's see. There we go. There they go. All bits and bobs. Yeah, there's some pipes here. Maybe that's how they deal with food and that. Maybe there's a little container there that it digests stuff. I don't know. Anyway, so sorts of that, and why is he taking her there anyway? You know, she got shot in gut, obviously, but don't they have back to tanks? I know, obviously Jabba's got one. Is Jabba's back to tank the only one on Tatooine? It must be. It must be. Anyway, by the way, these modded people, they don't look, let's go back and see if we can see one. They don't look very Star Warsy to me. They don't, do they? Especially this, where are we? There, so I can see one. See, I can't find one. Come on, where are you? I'm hopeless with this. I should have opened this. There we go. There, this chap here looking. Don't look very Star Warsy, does it? To be honest, it looks like somebody. I mean, to be honest, I've got very Egon Spengler vibes from that, as though he's got some glasses on that's high tech and he's looking for ghosts. Don't look very Star Wars. It looks cyberpunk, like a cyberpunk video game rather than Star Wars. But whatever. Anyway, so they're doing this stuff they saved. Anyway, she comes to, and they're at a camp, and you know, she asks, you know, what he's done. He's saved her life, and basically she pledges herself to him. Then since he saved her, and they go back to Jabba's palace, and she's got this little, it's like a probe thing that floats off, and so they get a map of the inside, you know, a bit like that one in Prometheus, where they have these, call these little dogs or something, puppy, I can't remember what they're called. They sent off to map this cavern, and they still got lost, didn't they? Anyway, but I digress. I do that a lot. Anyway, they go inside, they sneak in, all these guards about, they decide they've got to be really quiet. Oh, I sends that bantha off. Go off and find other banthas and make little baby banthas. Oh, crying out loud. Boba Fett! Boba Fett! Oh, it's Boba Fett! He's so mysterious. No, he ain't. Not anymore. Right then, right, so there we go, there's the map. I've got to get in, go through the kitchen, got to be really quiet, you know, or there we go, there's the kitchen. Got to be really quiet or we'll alert the, you know, the guards. So Boba spends 2 minutes fighting robots really noisily and chasing robots about, and it's really annoying. There we go, look, chasing about still. 2 minutes this goes on for. 2 sodding minutes. Horrible. Horrible. And he captures the droid, and you know what he does? He says, "I am Boba Fett." They say Boba Fett, don't they? I always say Boba Fett. Do you know what? What does I don't know. How does Tamara Morrison pronounce it? Does he say Boba Fett or Boba Fett? I say Boba Fett. Harrison Ford says Boba Fett, doesn't he? Anyway. Anyway, they get to the ship, and it gets inside. There we go. It's inside the ship, and it takes off. And outside, Fennec's killing all the bad guys, and Boba's basically can't fly. He's crashing everywhere, crashing into walls, and anyway, they get out eventually. They get out. Oh, they shoot the door. They can't get out. The door's not open. Let's have a look. Have a look. I'm not going to find it, am I? I'm hopeless at this sort of thing. I should have planned this out better. But, you know, what you see is what you get. Anyway, they get out eventually after he's crashed and smashed all walls up. And they find this Nikto Speeder gang. So he goes and blows them all to smithereens. There we go. Look. Pew, pew, pew. I'll have a quick view of that here. Pew, 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 pew. There we go. So he kills them, and so he thinks, you know, he's had revenge for them murdering his Tuscan family. But as we shall see later, here we go. Never mind that. Here we go. So he decides to go and look in the Sarlacc pit for his armour. Look, hang on, let's see if we can see a picture of it. Look at that. He goes to look for his armour in the Sarlacc pit. Hovers Slave 1 over it, you know, upside down, so he's can see inside. What he thinks his armour's in there. You remember he climbed out of the Sarlacc pit with his armour on, and the Jawas took it. He was awake because we saw from his point of view the Jawas knocked him out. So he was awake. He must have forgot. Anyway, look, so he comes over there like that. Look, I'm going to show you view, external view. Not going to show us, is it? For the you've got 8 seconds apparently. You've got 8 seconds to a video that you're allowed, or they'll start copyright claiming. Anyway, he looks inside. Anyway, can't see out, and obviously it all goes wrong. And the Sarlacc grabs hold of his ship. Look, look, he's having fun there, isn't he, with his pearly whites. Must have a good dental plan at Tuscan Raider camps. Anyway, they're shooting. It's grabbed on. The tentacles have come out. We can see one there. Look, the tentacles come out and it's grabbed the ship. It's trying to pull it in. So he's shooting, and the as luck would have it, the switch for the seismic chargers is out of reach. If you're if you're strapped in your chair, the charge for the button for the seismic chargers is out of reach. Not a very good design, is it? So Fennec's to undo his thing, and she falls out, and then she can press the button, and the seismic charge flops out basically and rolls down the ship and falls into the pit, and detonates, killing the Sarlacc. I'm sure we'll see this in picture form, in stills. Look, there she can't reach, and then it rolls down. Look there, it's rolled down. See, I'm pointing. it's rolled down and kills the Sarlacc. Hang on, where are we? There, she's reaching there. And anyway, so it's dead. It looks dead. It must be because he goes in. Still looking for his armour. He comes out, all covered in goo. And has a drink, look, pours some over himself. Or she pours some over him to get the acid off. But his armour's not in there. But we know it's not in there because the Jawas took it. How has he forgot? I don't understand why he's forgot. Anyway, what my notes said, is there anything I remember? No, apart from, no, like I said, it's a bad design flaw with that button in it. So, yeah, that's all I said. Anyway, Sarlacc's dead. And that's it there. That's the flashbacks caught up because we're up to thing next. Then it just shows him shooting Bib Fortuna. It doesn't show him going off on an adventure with Mandalorian like we saw, but or getting his armour back. But it shows him shooting Bib Fortuna and taking over Jabba's palace. And that's all caught up with the flashbacks. And he gets out of his. They're talking, probably talking on. There we go. There's the flash, the final bit, and then he gets out. Here we go. Comes out of his. Oh, for God's sake! Come on, where are you? There we go. Oh, for crying out loud! Comes out the back to tank, and the droid says, "You," or she says, or somebody says, I can't remember. "You're all healed. You're perfectly healed now." And he's healed, perfectly healed as a 60-year-old man. I mean, Boba's supposed to be about 40-year-old here, isn't it? Something like that. When was he born? During the attack at clones, he were about 10, wasn't he? And that was 20 years-ish before A New Hope, which were about 3 years before Return of the Jedi. So yes, I suppose that early 40s, isn't it? Something like that. But Temuera Morrison, obviously isn't in his early 40s anymore. Anyway, so what happens next? So he gets dressed and they go to the sanctuary again. Here we go. And Black Chrysanthemum in a happy bunny, sat getting drunk and feeling sorry for himself. So he decides to take it out on some Trandoshans and gets one and pulls his arm off. Is it going to show it? No, I don't know. Look, it's going to pull his arm off. She tries to talk him out of it, says, "Oh, all your drinks are free, your bar tab's paid." But no, pulls his arm off. Are we going to catch a cop for it? Come on. See, look. Oh, for God's sake, it's not going to do it. Anyway, he rips his arm off. Is it going to show it? No, it didn't. Never mind. Anyway, he pulls his arm off, but doesn't show any blood or out like that. You just see his arm, but not by itself. The end of it's off screen. And so Boba Fett basically gives him a job. Anyway, later on, we cut to Boba Fett is entertaining the clan leaders at Jabba's palace, and he asks for their help to fight the Pikes, and they tell him to bog off. Basically, they say, "No, we're not going to help you. So there, because we don't respect you." So Boba says, "Okay, I'm fine with that. Just don't get in my way." A real Boba Fett would have killed them all or fed them all to his rancor. But no, this is Disney Boba Fett. So anyway, sends them all on their merry way. And so obviously, they can't rely on their help. So Fennec Shan says they need more muscle. They've got, says, "I've got money, I've got credits." And says they need more muscle, and I think they know where to find it. Then we hear the Mandalorian theme, all that, and so we know where we're going next, don't we? Because that's how that episode ends. And another not very good episode, to be honest. Another not very good one. I know I'm not doing a very good job of reviewing it, but what the heck. So we're going to episode 5, chapter 5, Return of the Mandalorian, also known as Mandalorian Season 3, episode 1, which it is, isn't it? really. Previously on the Book of Boba Fett. Stuff that don't make any difference to this episode. Right, we start off the meat packing plant somewhere with some, what are the Clatoonians doing meaty packy stuff. And there he is, there's Din Djarin himself, the Mandalorian. Anyway, he comes in and he wants a bounty on this fella. Him there. Oh, I tell you, it always moves, doesn't it? Go on, on him. And he knows it's him. He says it's not me. Anyway, he got a fob thing and he knows it's him. So anyway, a big fight happens. And Din Djarin starts fighting everybody. Anyway, God, see, he's missed all this now. Look. Starts fighting. He's using the he's using the dark saber, and he actually injures himself because he can't use it properly for some reason, which will become more apparent as we go on. Anyway, so he kills everybody in there, including the bounty. Chops him in half. That's what we see in there. Look, he's chopped the table in half and the chap in half. Anyway, don't just take top half of him. He must chop his head off as well, because we see him come out with, there we go, there we go, a head in a bag, and I think it's actually dripping as well when you watch the footage. And so there we go. Anyway, that's all right. Quite exciting. It's good stuff so far. And so anyway, he tells them lot, I've killed everybody in there. You can do what you want. So they do. So go. Chapter 5, Return of the Mandalorian. Anyway, we find ourselves on this place. It's like a ring world. It's like Halo or something like that. Go on. There we go. And what's that other that thing with Matt Damon in? Anyway, it's a good film. Anyway, I enjoyed that one. It'll come to me. Brain's gone again. Anyway, it's called Glavis. Is the Halo style world, and it's jolly good. But as we see, the day-night cycle's a bit quick. These shadows are bombing across, so sleep cycles must be all over the place. And anyway, Mando takes this head to these aliens. Oh, it does a nice. This is actually a good bit because it's all one shot. Apparently, it looks like one shot. Anyway, you don't see it cut away. Just follows Mando, through the city or whatever, and in an elevator, and he goes up and then gets out of the elevator. It's all still one shot until he gets here, and then it cuts. And he's got the head there. It's for these aliens here, and it's not. They give him the money, but he says he's not really interested in the money. But I think he keeps it anyway. He wants the information, and they tell him, what he wants to know. Obviously, we don't know what it is. But then when he goes looking down in the bowels of Glavis, we'll see. There we go. There we go. He's using his infrared or whatever, and he sees obviously it's the Mandalorian covert sign. So he goes in, he goes down, and we find that there's just the armourer. She's right at the bottom of the city. There she is. There's the armourer, and Paz Vizsla is there as well. And we're going to see him. There he's coming to help him. There we go. He's tending his wounds, and obviously they're the remains of the group that were on Navarro. Anyway, tends his wounds. Anyway, it's obviously he's got the dark saber, and so it's all the legend behind that. But she's more interested, it seems, with this. Hang on, let's do that. Before that, I think we learn about what happened to Mandalore, don't we? Here we go. Where are we? Oh no, she's. We'll get to that. See, I'm all over the place. She takes the the Beskar spear that he won off that woman in season 2. There it is. It's on his back. He gives it to her, and she melts it down. He wants something made for Grogu So we don't see what it is until later, but we see some little rings, so you can guess it's obviously some sort of chainmail thing. Anyway, they do some training. Oh, here we go. While she's melting that, she's telling him about what happened to Mandalore, the Empire, the Night of 1,000 Tears. You think there'd be more than 1,000, wouldn't you? But basically, Mandalore were bombed to oblivion. And there's some good shots there. See, that's a good shot with like the K2SO type droids, and they're going through the wreckage, shooting Mandalorians, and there's probe droids hovering about as well somewhere. It's all, very, very good. Anyway, they do some training after that, and she's training him with the Darksaber, but he's struggling to wield it. It's too heavy for him, and he can't wield it properly. And apparently, this is a callback to Sabine Wren using it in Star Wars Rebels. She found it heavy. She said it would seem to be getting heavier or something like that. And she was told it's because you're fighting the blade or whatever. So anyway, Paz Vizsla says if he can't use it properly, maybe somebody else should use it. So they have a fight. Here we go, we're coming up to that. They have a fight, and Mando wins, as we shall see. Basically throttles Paz Vizsla. Where are we? He's got him there. Look, he's got a vibro blade to his neck. So he defeats him. And so you'd think, that'd be hunky-dory, everything would be alright, could go about the business. But then, the armourer just randomly says to Paz Vizsla, have you ever taken off your helmet? And he goes, never. Obviously, they must take him off sometime, mustn't they? I know they mean take it off in front of somebody else, but that's what they mean. But and then she asks Mando, and he, instead of lying like I would, I'd be like, no, I haven't never taken it off, honest. He says yes, he has, and she says, you're not a Mandalorian anymore then, sod it off. So he does, but she doesn't take the Darksaber off him, saying, no, you're not a Mandalorian, so you can't have this. No, she lets him take it, and he does. Oh dear. Right. Yeah. Anyway, she says the only way for him to get his Mandalorianness back is to go back to Mandalore, the previously, as we've seen, destroyed Mandalore, and go to this watery place underneath, I don't know, it's an underground sea or lake or something, I don't know. And I'm presuming he's got to ride the mythosaur or do something like that, and to prove he's a Mandalorian. But what does it matter if he takes his helmet off? If he takes his helmet off again, she'd say, oh, you're not a Mandalorian again. I mean, we've seen Mandalorians, that take their helmets off, he's still Mandalorian. But it's these that are a creed out there, and I thought he'd got past that. Season 2 of his own series, we saw he basically got past that strict creed that what is it, the Children of the Watch, these are, that they follow, and he found that other Mandalorians don't follow that strict code. They can take their helmets off, and they do. But not these. So anyway, he sods off, leaves them then, and he goes, there we go to the spaceport. He's going to the spaceport, and he tries to get on the ship to go to Tatooine, but the droid says, no, you've got to leave all your weapons. He says, my weapons are my religion. And he says, well, you still can't get, the robot says, you still can't get on with these weapons. So he says, right, well, fair enough. And he dumps all these weapons in this box. He says, I want that back. Says, well, yeah, because it's his religion. So, well, it's like, it's stupid. I mean, why is he taking public transport? Surely he's got enough credits on him. He could hire a private transport, like Luke and Ben did in Star Wars, that hired the Millennium Falcon, to go to Alderaan. Why couldn't he do something like that? Surely he could get somewhere someone to take him to Tatooine, so he doesn't have to give up all his, weapons that are his religion. No, right, whatever. Idiot. Pardon me, burping now. Anyway, he gets to, there we go, he sets off. There's that little roadie kid. There was an annoying kid in there in front of you, and that's the annoying kid in front of him. There it is, look, the little package with the chainmail, whatever, but we don't find out it's a chainmail shirt till later, that's what it is. In the little package that looks just like Grogu. Anyway, he arrives on Tatooine, and he gets his weapons back. Oh, look, there we go, look, there's that little droid from Star Wars Fallen Order video game. Everybody's thinking, oh, is Cal Kestis going to come? Probably not. Because, you know, they don't do stuff like that. Because people always give the writers too much credit in these times. Not only Star Wars, it's the same in Star Trek and other things. They give the writers too much credit. Anyway, yeah, it's she's here. I forgot her name. What's her name now? I can't bloody remember. Molly Pesos. No, it's not that, is it? Molly Pesos. I don't know. What is it? Somewhere. I don't know. I can't remember the actress's name either. Anyway, there's R5D4 there, and Treadwell. You know, we saw both of them in A New Hope, didn't we? In the first Star Wars film, Episode 4. Both got sold by Jawas, I think. Or that were in, or was that in a deleted scene with Luke at the moisture farm doing something? I can't remember. They were both in there anyway. Anyway, so he goes and sees her. There we go. She goes, Mando. Oh, and she gets attacked by a Womp-Rat, and he saves her from that. There she is. She goes like, Mando. Anyway, he says, have you got me a new, what's the name of his ship? A new Razor Crest. Have you got a new one of them for me? Or another one, a new one, obviously. Another one. She says, no, but I've got you one of these. Prepare to be amazed. And it's a Naboo starfighter. I mean, he's a bounty hunter, isn't he? What use is a Naboo starfighter going to be for a bounty hunter? I mean, where's he going to put his people he captures? I mean, in his Razor Crest, he had loads of room, didn't he? And he could put, they're all in carbonite, he could put them in there, couldn't he? He had room for his armoury, and he even had a toilet, because they even showed it, and he had a room, a little bit for sleeping in, didn't he? That was the cockpit and other areas. But, you know, this is a starfighter, it's like a single seat fighter. Well, she says, oh, they've taken the droid out and put a little dome where the droid would normally be. You know, I wonder who's going to sit there in future. There we go, look, droid's taken out. Anyway, oh dear. You know, so, you know, where's he going to go to the toilet in that? Is he going to have to just get some sort of catheter? Maybe it's temporary. Maybe it's temporary and he's going to get something better down the line. I should hope so. Anyway, then we cut to a bit of a montage of repair work going on, and you know, Jawa's going getting parts for him. She says she dated a Jawa once, and there we go. Anyway, they get bits and pieces. Anyway, he goes and takes it for a test flight, and off he goes up into space. No, he flies down the Bunta Eve thing, Beggar's Canyon, doesn't he? There's a Womp-Rat. Flies down Beggar's Canyon, then he takes it up into the sky, sees that kid again. What are they doing? Are they just flying about on transports then? Do they live on it or something? I don't know. And anyway, so he flies past that transport. Oh, and then he encounters two X-Wings. And one of them's piloted by that X-Wing pilot we saw in Season 2, the Asian-looking chap. He's got a name, I don't know. And he says to him, your voice sounds familiar, you know, were you on Navarro or whatever? Dealt with the Imperial Remnant, and he says no. And so then he hits his turbos, because apparently it's got a turbo engine thing, and it pew, goes bombing off. Leaves them in the dust, so to speak, in space, and they don't bother chasing him, you know, because too much paperwork and they can't be bothered. Cops, eh? Anyway, Boba, it's not Boba, is it? We're on The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 1. They're the pilots. There's one of them, and there's the other one. See, the older chap, who made Cara Dune the Marshal before she got fired. Gina Carano, but I stand with Gina Carano. Yeah, anyway, so he bogs off and goes back, sees Fennec Shand, and she says Boba wants to hire him. Throws him a bag of money. He says it's on the house, throws it back. He says, yeah, I've just got to see a little friend first. I wonder who that could be. So anyway, I think then we cut to credits. There we go, Bryce Dallas Howard. And that was a good episode, actually. I quite enjoyed that episode. Obviously there's some issues, always is, but that the best episode so far by a long way, orders of magnitude better than the previous 4 episodes. So next up we go, and then we were wondering, are we going to go back to Boba Fett now, or is it going to carry on the Mandalorian story, the Din Djarin story? Still call him Mando. But we had to wait a week, but we don't, because we can go to Chapter 6, From the Desert Comes a Stranger, Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 2. And what happens here? Right, here we go. Bit of a recap. Here we go. There's so we see we're on Tatooine now, and we're in some sort of desert, and there's some pikes, and they've got boxers and a cantona, and there's Cobb Vanth. Obviously, ain't got his Boba Fett armour anymore because he gave it to the Mandalorian, Din Djarin, who gave it back to Boba Fett. Anyway, some sort of moisture farm equipment knocking about, which we see all over Tatooine. Anyway, he tells them, where are we? He tells them basically that they're in his territory, that he's the lawman for these here parts, and he tells them to sling the hook and not come through through this berg again. And anyway, the moving spies basically, the drug dealers out there, not to put too fine a point on him, and so he's. Basically, they have a shootout and he kills them all. There we go. Look, I'm going to see him kill them, and they're all dead except for one. And he tells him to, tell his bosses, you don't come through this way again, or same will happen to them. And he lets him. There's a cantona there. You can just see it there. I think that's full of credits or something. And there's a box as well, which we learn is full of spice. Don't know what sort of spice. Could be saffron or something like that. I don't know. We don't actually know what spice does in Star Wars, or do we? I don't know. It might have been mentioned. Is it used? Not used like in Dune, is it? It's not used to expand the mind and allow space travel to happen, because they've got hyperdrive engines and all that. So what does it do? Is it just a drug? An addictive drug? I don't know. Anyway, so he tells him to go, and we see that he leaves the box behind, and we'll see that Cobb Vanth takes the box and he opens it up. There's the spice. Or is it cocoa? And kicks it off. Can't see it. Don't do it. There we go. And he kicks it over. Look, are you ready? He's going to kick it over now. Look, there he goes. Kicks it over. Lets the desert take it. Because he's not into drugs. Because he's the law in these parts. And then, see, I'm spoiling things now, aren't I? Look, going too far ahead. Anyway, yeah. Mando, go back to Mando. He arrives on an unknown planet. We don't actually know which planet this is. He flies over it, and it's all green and lovely, and there's mountains. It looks a bit like Vietnam or somewhere like that. These sort of, steep mountain, things, hillocks. Anyway, they're greeted by none other than R2-D2, and he says, "Hello, little friend." Only met him once. And he don't like droids. Thought he didn't like droids. I know he made up with IG-11, didn't he? Because he saved his life. But apart from that, he wasn't keen on them. Anyway. Anyway, so he goes and follows R2, and we come across some ant droids that are building. these androids. They're picking up stones and they're going building Luke's Jedi training school. Some people call it a temple. I think in the books, actually, the canon, reference books, I think they call it Luke's Jedi Temple. But is it a temple or is it just a training school? Or is it the same? Because I don't know. So we call it Luke's Jedi Temple. Is this the same one from? I mean, they've said in the canon, reference books that this is the same place that we see burning in Last Jedi, and I think quickly we see it in Force Awakens as well. But the surrounding area looks totally different. It's like this barren wasteland, wasn't it? In that we saw, that were all muddy and rainy and horrible. I mean, did Kylo Ren just chop all trees down or something, get rid of mountains? I doubt it. Excuse me. Anyway, Din Djarin's forced to wait. He can't take him to see Luke and Grogu. So he's forced to wait, and he sits on a bench anyway, and then we see Luke training Grogu. There we go, there's Luke. And he's training Grogu. Look at him, little green fella. And Luke's training, well, we say training, he's actually just sat with his eyes shut, so is he training him or is he having a nap? And Grogu's more interested in, that's it, getting one of them, a one-eyed frog, and eating it. Has it over? Look, he's gonna eat that. Luke sees him and stops it, and makes all the other frogs float as well. We're going to see, there we go. Look, all the other frogs are floating in the sky. I mean, this is basically, Yoda could lift an X-wing out of a swamp. Luke does some frogs. Yeah, the greatest Jedi that ever lived. We love Luke, though. Even though this isn't real Luke, is it? It's CG Luke. It actually looks better than last season. And then what happens? We see a little flashback of a bit more training. Luke's walking with Grogu and using the Force to help him keep up. And we see a little flashback from Grogu of his time in the Jedi Temple when, there we go, when there we go, have a quick play, there we go, clone troopers killing Jedi, but Grogu looks to be hiding. There must be something blocking his vision, so he's inside something hiding. Obviously somebody spirited him away, didn't they? Don't know who, doesn't tell us. So obviously that's very traumatic for the little fella. And anyway, next thing we see, Din Djarin meets Ahsoka. She's there. Look, don't know why she's there. Thought she were off looking for Thrawn, but no, she's visiting Luke. She'd be off making your own series, love. Never mind guest starring, in Book of Boba Fett or in Mandalorian season 3, episode 2. Anyway, so they talk for a bit. And then we see Luke running through the forest, or bamboo forest, isn't it? Is it going to show us? There we go. So Luke running through there. We go with Grogu on his back, doing leaps and jumps and. Come on, we're going to see him. There we go. Here he comes. Look, he's running about. Whee! There, we've got Grogu on his back, and that don't look very much like Mark Hamill, does it? There, they missed that bit out, haven't they? And anyway, isn't it supposed to be the other way around? Shouldn't Luke be on Grogu's back? He's the trainee and he's the trainer. So use the Force, Grogu. But no, he don't. But anyway, so then what happens? What's in my notes? Yeah. So we carry on his training, and Luke's saying, the life's in a balance and all that, and blah blah blah, and he's doing a bit of crouching tiger, hidden dragon up some bamboo there. Anyway, so it teaches Grogu to balance on a stick, and a bit of Karate Kid, wax on, wax off, and all that, and crane and all that, So doing that, and Grogu, just going That's all he does. He can't talk yet, can he? He's like the... I don't want to sound horrible. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it because I'll get into trouble. Anyway, we carry on. Luke pulls out a remote. Oh no, pulls out a lightsaber first, you know, to scare pants like a little kid. But then he pulls out a remote. There we go. There's the remote. And decides to have it, you know, shooting at Grogu, as we shall see. You ready? Go on. Grogu's thinking, oh, what's that? Is that nice? Oh no, it shot him. Or shot near him. So anyway, so it's got to learn. Basically, Luke's trying to teach Grogu to jump because he can't jump very high. So he does that, and he soon learns, as we see. You ready? Whee! There he goes, learning to jump. And anyway, he takes the. Luke says to Ahsoka. Ahsoka arrives, by the way, and says, "So and so with the Mando. He is he's given this for Grogu." So, yeah, whatever. Anyway, she says, "How's he doing?" And he says, Luke says, I don't think he's really learning from me. He's more remembering. Right, fair enough. Fair enough. But to be honest, Grogu still seems like a bit of an idiot to me. Anyway, he breaks obviously he's had enough of the remote, so he destroys it with the Force. That's not a very nice thing to do, is it? But whatever. I hope Luke had more of them, because it's in the water now. Anyway, back to Tatooine. Mando arrives at Jabba's palace, meets some Gamorrean guards. He says, "I'm here to meet Boba Fett." Blah blah blah. Fennec Shan. Then we see Boba Fett there in the background. Does he say anything? No. Fennec Shan does all the talking. They're saying that basically they ain't got enough foot soldiers. So maybe he shouldn't have just let all them, you know, district leaders walk out. He just said, "You help me or I'll kill you." Anyway, Mando says, "I know who can help me, who can help us." So he flies out. See, there's a Sandclaw there with a big Krayt Dragon skull on. Is that the very same one that we saw at the beginning of season 2 of Mandalorian? Probably. How did they get it up there? Industrious little buggers. Anyway, he goes to Freetown. They call it Mos Pelgo, but they call it Freetown now. And this chap is the deputy of Freetown, and he tells, see, he's telling him, hang on, "You can't park there, you got to park over there." Anyway, he ignores him, and magically, Cobb Vanth appears. Are you ready? See if we can get this. Are you ready? Here we go. Look, hang on. See if we can get this. So there's nobody there. Look, there's nobody there. I haven't seen him walk up. Or he'd have seen him, wouldn't he? You know, if he snuck up behind him. Was he just that crouching down behind him? There we go. It's like magic, isn't it? He just appears. And he says, "I'll take it from here, deputy." So anyway, basically they're going to the bar then, look, and he says, we need soldiers to fight the Pikes, and they said, "Well, it's not our fight, is it? You know, we've had enough bother." He says, "Well, it'd be a favour." So alright, I'll ask him. I'll ask all the people of Freetown, because they don't call it Mos Pelgo anymore for some reason. And says, "Oh, fair enough." And for Mando, you know, that "I'll ask everybody" is yes, we'll come. Oh, hang on, there we go. Right, so we're having so it sods off. There's Mando, I believe, Cobb Vanth there, and wind chimes go, because whoever's coming obviously sets off wind chimes. And we see this figure approaching from the desert. See if I can land on it. But I can't. Come on. Sends people away. Says, "Oh, get everybody inside." That's what he says. Because somebody's coming out the desert. Yeah, not that one. I want to see. I don't know. There we go. Oh, for Pete's sake. Play.
I'm not leaving you out here alone.
Yeah. see. Anyway, we saw this shadowy figure on the wavering in the haze. I'm presuming he's gone for the old Lawrence of Arabia motif. You know, when Omar Sharif arrives after he shot somebody from miles away. He comes out of the desert, doesn't he? As a hazy, ghostly form. Anyway, we all know who this is, don't we? Because we see the hat and the coat, and we obviously know it's Cad Bane, and it is Cad Bane. So they have a standoff. Cad Bane says the Pikes, he says the Pikes, the Syndicate anyway, is running things. The spice must flow. Doesn't say that. He says the spice must keep moving or whatever. And he says, well, no, it's not going to happen. So anyway, the deputy comes out then and decides to pull his gun, and it all kicks off, and there we go, and people get shot. Hang on, there we go. Hang on, there we go. It happens so fast. Hang on, let's see if we can. Are you ready? Are you ready? Look at that. Shot him a million times. Will that speed it up? I think it won't. Have I pressed something? I think I've pressed something. Yeah. There we go. Made it even faster. To look cool, Cad Bane. Anyway, shot Cobb Vanth in the shoulder. It seems he killed the deputy because he hit him loads of times, didn't he? So he's a goner. And then the townspeople then are looking, and the barman, I can't remember what species he is. No, it's not showing it, is it? Because it's stupid. Anyway, they look scared. The barman looks at him, and I'm thinking, no, they are going to turn up. They're going to rally to Boba Fett's cause in the end. But we'll see. Anyway, then we cut to black, and then we cut to the sanctuary, and two Pikes walking with a cantoner, and they go and sit down. They don't want anything, and then they get up and walk out. For Pete's sake, they get up and walk out, and no, not that. Come on, come back. You ready? There we go. That happens. We'll do it that way, yeah? Then we won't get copyright thing because it's going faster. Yeah, anyway, it blows up. Don't know why they've blown up the sanctuary. Don't make sense to me. But anyway, so then we cut to Luke and Grogu in the... Looks finished now, doesn't it? Well, that building is anyway. Not that many amenities though, does there? Anyway, but whatever. And basically pulls out... He says it's Yoda's lightsaber. He pulls that out first. Pulls out that little mithril shirt. Its value is more than the planet that temple's on, I'm sure. Pulls that out. Says this is the Mandalorian's a gift for you from the Mandalorian. A Beskar shirt. Chainmail. We won't call it a shirt. It's a chainmail. Then it's a little box with a little lightsaber in. It says that's Yoda's lightsaber. It was. Don't know where they got it from. It looks more like a kryptonite thing. Not kryptonite, the green crystal that Superman uses to build the Fortress of Solitude, and he throws it. It looks more like that, doesn't it? Anyway, whatever. It's Yoda's lightsaber. I don't know where Luke got it from. Apparently in the comics it was burnt because the Emperor and collected all Jedi lightsabers and burnt them all. I don't know if they took the crystals out first, I don't know, because it was supposed to be gathering crystals, wasn't it, for the Death Star and that, but anyway, but whatever. So it was supposed to be burnt, but somebody said maybe he had a spare, and Luke, rummaged through Yoda's belongings on Dagobah. But apart, somebody said Yoda said he'd never use a lightsaber again after what happened, at the end of Revenge of the Sith, but I don't know. Anyway, he's got it here, so it canon. He's got the Yoda's lightsaber, and it gives little Grogu, little Ralph Wiggum Grogu, an ultimatum. Basically, he says, you can have one of these, but you can't have both. If you pick the lightsaber, you stay here, train with me, and you know, what's the phrase? I can either train as a Jedi, that's it, forsaking attachment, that's what I'm thinking, forsaking. You can either train as a Jedi, forsaking attachment, or you can pick the mithril shirt and go with Mando, and it won't be trained as a Jedi. I don't know what will happen then with his force powers. It's been suggested if you don't train, they fade. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, don't know. Ooh, excuse me. You know, but I don't know why Luke's behaving like this anyway, because, you know, Luke, all this, you know, Jedi don't have attachments, you know, because Luke, he chose not to forgo attachments, and he saved the galaxy, basically, didn't he, and redeemed his father. His friends and his family were more important to him than the Jedi way, you know, the non-attachments. So he went against, you know, Jedi doctrine. So I don't know why is choosing this now. I mean, he could use it, basically do his own version, you know, the Skywalker path of the Jedi, and you know, go with basic training, the basics of Jedi training regime, training regimes, do all that, but not adhere to the strict code of forsaking attachment. But anyway, what will Grogu choose? Will we find out straight away, or we'll have to wait for Mandalorian season 3? Your guess is as good as mine. Anyway, the last episode was called Chapter 7, In the Name of Honor, and we went back to there we go, back to, oh no, this is a thingamabob, isn't it, a recap. There's Mos Espa, look, in daytime, looks miles bigger than we saw in Phantom Menace. We never saw this bit, but I'm moaning about nothing. Anyway, so here we go. So just a quick recap. Then what happens here now? Here we go. Oh, yes, I remember now. Yes, Boba and Fennec and the Scooby Gang. They're checking out the remains of the sanctuary that were blown up. Still don't know why it was blown up. To send a message. Yeah, stupid message. Boba says they should immediately return to the Jabba's palace, because it's, you know, it's fortified and all that, and they can hang, you know, stay there. But immediately, you know, swatted down, you know, by the Scooby Gang, particularly her, Jyn Erso. I wonder if Kathleen Kennedy had her cast, because he likes her. Where are we going here now? She likes her British sounding. There we go. British sounding brunettes, doesn't she? Even though Sophie Thatcher's American, I know, but she has a British accent in this. And they immediately swatted down by, you know, Jyn Erso. I mean, the robot arm lass. And she says the people, the quote, the people who live here need our protection. What do you mean the people who live here need our protection? There were a bunch of, you know, water stealing ruffians 5 minutes ago, so, you know, what makes them suddenly the defenders of Mos Espa? Anyway, Boba backs down again, because it's Boba Fett. It's Boba Fett, so mysterious. Boba Fett. Oh, he's useless in this, isn't he? Anyway, at Pike HQ, that's in the next scene. There we go, Pike HQ. Cad Bane arrives, there he is, and we learn it was the Pikes that killed the Tuskens. You know, Boba's, you know, family of Tuskens, of nice Tusken Raiders. It was the Pikes that had him killed, and that made to look as though the Speeder Gang did it, but it wasn't actually them. So Boba Fett killed them for no reason, just to basically get them out of the way, I suppose. And anyway, he says, what's his face? Cad Bane says he will deal with Boba. Alright, very good. Anyway, after that, an X-Wing arrives, and we're going to get to it. Look at Boba Fett. Here we are at Millie Poggle's place. I still can't remember her name. docking bay. Not docking bay 94, I can't remember what it is. I think we saw it once, didn't we? It says on somewhere. Anyway, an X-Wing appears, and with R2 in it, and it opens up, but there's no bugger in it. But yes, there is. There's little Grogu with his mithril shirt on. And apparently R2 flew the ship. Anyway, so obviously he picked the shirt, and Luke said, "Go on, bugger off. Get sling your hook. I'm not even taking you. R2, take him. To get him out of my sight. I can't do with him." And then R2 presumably flies that X-Wing back to Luke, but I don't think we see that. Maybe I nodded off, I don't know. So anyway, so we see that. So anyway, so she says, "Right, I'll take you to Mando." Anyway, then it all kicks off back here in Mos Espa. The Scooby Gang are patrolling the spaceport, and the what's the face? The Gamorreans are walking about, and Black Chrysanthemum is as well. But then it all kicks off. I think Cad Bane arrives first. Let's have a look. Yeah, Cad Bane arrives. He tries to do some negotiating. Boba says he's not negotiating, but then it all starts going wrong, and basically the townsfolk turn on the Scooby Gang. Is it show? There we go. And they start shooting them. I don't know where they got the guns from. Obviously the Pikes must have given them the guns, and yeah, they turn on them. The Gamorreans are pushed off a cliff, and I think Trandosians attack Black Chrysanthemum, because they never get on to the Wookiees and Trandosians. There's one of the Gamorreans showing his gut. Looks like me. Anyway, we're gonna we see there's Black Chrysanthemum getting overpowered by Trandosians. It's all kicking off, and people are killing the Scooby Gang. They're trapped. There she is. Looks is Jyn Erso saying, "No, it's all going wrong." And but Fennec Shan saves them. I forgot where she's gone for now. She's sodded off. She said, "I'll go deal with the Pikes." I think that's what she said. And we don't see her again till the end. Anyway, so loads more Pikes arrive, and basically Boba and Mando are basically trapped, and says, "Shall we give ourselves up?" Says, "No," and Boba says, "It's not your fight." And says, "It is, because it just is. It's a matter of honour." Anyway, that Mayor's aide, that Twi'lek, he says, I'm a trained negotiator. There he is, look. "I'll go out and I'll have a word. You write down here what I have to say, and I'll say it to him." And Mando scribbles for about 2 seconds, and then he comes out and reads this long diatribe about how they've got to go and flowers will bloom in the desert and all stuff. Because what are you talking about? But how did he write all that? Anyway, so it all goes wrong. And they come out, there's Mando and Boba on their jetpacks, start shooting, but they're soon they're outnumbered basically, and they keep getting shot. Look, and they're getting worn down. But then, yay! The people of Freetown arrive. No Cobb Vanth though, as you can see, but the rest of them are there. And they arrive, save the day sort of, and then the what's left of the Scooby Gang, they arrive as well, and they think the drive Black Chrysanthemum comes, he's limping, but he arrives, and they drive the Pikes back, and they think, "Yay, we're doing well here." But then some big robots arrive. There we go. Some big droids arrive. They're a bit like droidicas. It says what they're called, but I forgot. They're a bit like droidicas. They've got shields. It'll probably show it. Come on, now. You ready? Come on, turn your shields on. There we go. Shields come on. 2 of them. So anyway, we saw, didn't we? And then where are we? Big droidica types arrive. I'm just reading my notes and start shooting up the joint. Oh yeah, Boba and Mando tell everybody else to run away. So they do. They all run away in the same direction. They don't scatter. For harder targets. They all run as a big group down the street. Idiots. as we'll see. I'll see if I can get a shot of it. See, it looks exciting in still form, but it's actually quite boring. You know, I'm sorry to say. Anyway, they keep fighting. They can't get through the shields, and they're just bouncing off them. Basically, there they are, all running away in one group instead of scattering. Look there, I saw them then. Oh, tell me I've missed it. Look. Organisation. There they go. All running away, same direction. Why don't they just duck down side streets and stuff like that? That's what they should be doing, shouldn't they? Just be scattering, getting on rooftops and stuff and all that. Not that I'm a military expert. Anyway, so they do that. And Boba Fett and Mando are just bouncing off the shields. You know, they're trying to shoot and Mando's trying to use the Darksaber and can't get through the shield. But didn't they show that in Clone Wars that the clone troopers used grenades and just rolled them slowly, didn't they? Through, and they passed through the shields and blew up droidicas. It was something like that, you know. Instead of like going at it hammer and tongs. Anyway, so what happens next? She arrives, old Millie Polgo. Don't ask me her name, I can't remember. With Grogu. So they jump on this and it bombs off right fast. And these have got holed up in like a Alamo type situation. And one of the droids, droidica things are attacking them. And yeah, reunited, all happy, but we're gonna die. And anywho, Boba's sodded off. He says, I've got a plan or something like that, and he flies off with his jetpack. And while all this is happening, and then they're gonna die. They try and get to here we go. Here's Boba arriving again. Look, I won't. Yeah, go on. Let's go straight to it. They hear a noise, and Boba arrives on top of his Rancor. Yeah, he's riding a Rancor. We knew he would be, didn't we? Anyway, so Rancor basically makes quite short work of these droidicas. I know they've got another name. I can't remember what it was. Makes quite short work of them, along with Mando, who uses the Darksaber. He managed to pass through one of the shields and chops one of them up, and there you go. Baby Grogu helps Mando. Look, they're doing it. Is it? No, that's something else in it. I don't know. But he does this. He uses the Force to stop the droids from skewering Mando. And anyway, the Rancor, do some sniping and take out, rest at pikes, and Rancor takes care of these droids. Look, we'll show there we go. Stuff like that. There you go. All that happens, and then I think Cad Bane arrives. I think he uses some flames on the Rancor, which he doesn't like. He doesn't like flames. There he is. Look, and then. So the droids are sorted out, but then it's Cad Bane versus Boba Fett, who is in some sort of shootout. It looks. There we go, and basically Cad Bane is quicker than Boba Fett. He shoots him. There you go, shoots him, and he's about to knock his helmet off, or pulls his helmet off, and he's going to kill him. He's going to shoot him, but Boba Fett gets his gaffy stick out and knocks Cad Bane and then stabs him with it. Says, I always knew you were a killer, and then he kills him. So there you go. The end of Cad Bane, no doubt. Or is it? You never know with Star Wars, do you? Anyway, meanwhile, I think the Rancor's gone on a bit of a rampage. There we go. It does a bit of King Konging, climbs up a big tower. There we go. Climbs up a big tower, and it's going to kill everybody. I think it gets out of Mando. Here we go. Mando tries to take it on. He uses his flamethrower on it as well. But you know, he don't really do much. But it's up to Baby Grogu. He uses the Force and makes the Rancor go to sleep. There you go. It's all happening there. Look. And Baby Yoda, whatever, falls asleep next to it. Ain't that cute? And pigging stupid. Where were we? So yeah, Cad Bane's dead. They couldn't kill the. Obviously, they can't kill the the Rancor, can they? Because it, you know, it's misunderstood and depressed, so they've got to save it. Meanwhile, Fennec Shand, well, we don't see it's Fennec Shand at first. Anyway, all these lot in here, the Pikes, all get slaughtered, and the mayor, that's the mayor of Mos Esper's feet, he gets throttled and pulled up into the rafters, Batman style. And anyway, they all get slaughtered. We find out it's Fennec Shand. She's slaughtered them all. She's more of a badass than Boba Fett. Has been all the way through, and everybody's happy. See that, and that's basically like the Emperor dying, in it, for this area. Yeah. So there we go. Everything's lovely, despite half this area being destroyed by a rampaging Rancor and a big battle and droids blowing stuff up. But everybody's happy, and they're giving Mando and Fennec and stuff melons. They are, I'm not kidding. And they decide. He says, "We're not really cut out for this, are we?" So I'm guessing they're going to leave, because she says, or he says, "Yeah, but we know somebody who is." And so, the implication is that it's Scooby Gang. There we go. Scooby Gang's going to be running things while they sod off and have adventures. So, what the heck? Anyway, Mando and Sodom then. Anyway, Mando and Grogu fly off in the Naboo starfighter. Grogu wants Mando to use the turbo, and he does. So, and that's how it ends. But then we have a mid-credit scene. Where is it? We have a mid-credit scene. We're going to get to it. Come on, you thing. Here we go. Shows the Bacta tank, and it looks like Cobb Vanth. I'm presuming that's Cobb Vanth in there. And then there's that mod fella as well. So is Cobb Vanth going to get some mods? He only got shot his shoulder. I mean, what mods? Is he going to have a robot arm? Is it going to be like the Winter Soldier? Is it going to be like that? We'll see. Anyway, that's it. There ain't another one at end. Look, because they're just that. So anyway, so that's it. So it wasn't a very good series at all, was it? I don't think it was. 7 episodes, 2 that really didn't have Boba Fett in. One of them didn't have him in at all, apart from the recap at the beginning. And the other one he was in, but he didn't have a speaking line. He just stood at back. And just not very good. In my opinion, Boba Fett was in this series in name only. It's argued that this experience, his experience in the Sarlacc pit, so I'm reading from my notes. I shouldn't read from my notes because I'm rubbish. It's argued that his experience in the Sarlacc pit and living with Tuscans for quite a few years, we find, it mellowed him, but it shouldn't have done really. It should have hardened him even more, made him more gruff and angry, really. I mean, Tuscans were slaughtered, and Tuscans have always been at war with the residents of Tatooine. We're always finding out about them attacking, the settlers and stuff like that, the settlements, the moisture farmers and stuff. And they take people and enslave them, don't they? Like they did with Boba Fett. They were going to enslave him, weren't they? But he, ended up joining them. Turned Injun, didn't you? As they say. They get shot at by passing trains and wiped out by angry Jedi Skywalkers whose mum, they kidnapped and did God knows what to her for a month. And but that tribe that Boba was in, they were nice Tuscans, weren't they? They even said that, didn't they? So some of the others are more violent, so they were nice Tuscans. They just did slave people and beat them up, that's all. Yeah, whatever. And in my opinion, Boba, it should have been portrayed. He should have grabbed that planet by the scruff of its neck and wiped out every opponent, thus bringing order. That's what he's learned from the Empire, because he worked for the Empire probably for quite a while, and for people like Jabba the Hutt. Basically all his life, hasn't he? So he should be, a tough character, no matter how long he's stayed in the Sarlacc pit and with some nice Tuscans. So basically, season 1 should have been Boba the badass, and they tried to make him. I mean, you want a badass in this, wasn't it? Really, he had some scenes, but it was really Fennec Shand the badass, wasn't it? And Din Djarin the badass. But it should have been, a bad guy in season 1, bringing Tatooine to its knees, with his ruthlessness, taking the place of Jabba the Hutt. And even being worse than Jabba the Hutt, being more aggressive and ruthless and making people fear him. I know it's not it's Disney after all, so they won't do that, will they? I've written here that, could they even make him like a Paul Atreides figure, from Dune, somehow bringing the seas back to Tatooine, but, through some technological means, not through some mystical means, but... that'd be a bit much, I suppose, because they kept going on. They mentioned it more than once, I think, about seas on Tatooine. So I thought that they were going to, play into it somehow. But the main thing is, I suppose, it just wasn't a very good series, was it? It was, I don't know, it was a bit boring, to be honest. It wasn't horrible. Only horrible thing, really, I think, was that last episode. I hated it. It was, there was excitement. I suppose you could call it excitement. There were shoot explosions, boomy robots, monsters in it, wasn't there? But it was boring. I found it to be dull and uninspired. That's the word, uninspired. And 2 best episodes didn't have him in. 2 best episodes were the Mandalorian season 3 episodes. Let's face it, Tamara Morrison, he seems a nice fella. Apparently likes singing and doing his New Zealand hacker stuff. You can see a bit of that, especially when he's using his gaffy stick. He looks very Maori, doesn't he, when he's doing that? But he's not a lead character. He's not a lead actor, is he? He's struggled to lead the series. Just as these characters struggle to lead his people, we're always being told what to do, basically, rather than him telling people what to do. They told him what to do, and he went, "Oh, okay, I'll take your advice." But really, they're just telling him what to do. They're not giving him advice, they're telling him what to do. So, basically, I give it a 6 out of 10. And that's only because them 2 episodes with Din Djarin were, really good. Well, quite good. Episode 5, the Bryce Dallas Howard one. That was a good episode. I enjoyed that. But if they hadn't been in, it'd have been a 3 or a 4, because it was quite boring, to be honest. I think Disney dropped the ball. They had a chance to give us badass Boba, but they gave us a tired old man who allows the people that supposedly work for him argue with him, basically tell him what to do. They don't give him advice, they tell him what to do, and he just rolls over it and does. There's no consequences. He should say, "No, I'm the boss, I say what happens, and if it goes wrong, then it's on him, innit?" But there you go. So that's it. That's all I've got to say. I've been at it, 2 hours? 2 bleeding hours talking about the Book of Boba Fett. 2 hours of 7 episodes that were quite uninspired, apart from episode 5, which I think was really good. I think Bryce Dallas Howard has really come a long way in a short time, really. That first episode in season 1 of Mandalorian with the Walker, the AT-ST. I call them AT-STs, not AT-STs. It was okay, but it didn't blow me away. But the episode in season 2 where we met Katie Sackhoff, brain, it's gone again. God, what they call her now? super famous Mandalorian, played the Clone Wars. Anyway, yes. That was a really good episode. And then this one in here, season episode 5. That was a really good one. Chapter 5 they call them, not episode 5, chapter 5. Because they've got to make them different. Films are episodes, aren't they? The series is chapters. That were good anyway. But the rest of it was quite there. I don't think Robert Rodriguez, is really cut out for Star Wars. Everybody thought he would be, it's Robert Rodriguez, he does action films, El Mariachi and all that and stuff. What's that? So much rattling about. Hang on. And but he didn't do a really good job. Maybe he were hampered by Disney. Maybe they said, maybe he had great ideas and they said you can't do that. Oh, I've made some burping again. Said you can't do that because it's too violent. I'm sure he had some violent ideas. But there you go. What shall we leave it on? You know what? We'll go back to that. There we go. So we'll leave it there. I'll bugger off now. Blathered on for 2 hours and 15 minutes. And I've had enough and I want a drink. So I've got to render this and probably bugger about with it as well. So anyway, until next time, I'll be back tomorrow with some news, probably, of, a geeky nature. So until then, I'll see thee.